Well, JR, I've done some 800 stories over the years, and I think this one is the one I will probably remember more than any other. Bayler didn't get to watch his Gamecocks win the championship from the stands, but many players will tell you he was there with them in Omaha.
Good catch.
It's on the ball field where Rob Teal says his son Bayler felt in heaven.
He was really getting into it too, this past year.
As a fourth-generation Gamecock family fan, Bayler also quickly fell in love with the garnet and black.
The teacher came up to us and said that he wouldn't even color with an orange crayon.
A true Gamecock fan, no doubt, full of life and compassion.
Made me feel like I must have done something right to have a child like him.
Then came the day the Teal family's world stopped turning.
He was diagnosed September 17, 2008. With stage 4 neuroblastoma.
At just 5 years old, the Teals found out Bayler had cancer, and it was already in the most advanced stage.
You get told that and it just knocks the breath out of you.
Heart-wrenching news, unbearable for a parent to cope. It's here where the lessons of Bayler Teal began to spread.
He taught me how to live, how to handle life. People would say that they felt so sad until they came around him. And, you know, he never acted like he got the short end of the stick at all. He thought he was lucky and blessed.
Bayler fought his cancer, and he fought it hard. Each time he'd beat it, it'd come back, then he'd beat it again. During that time, Bayler spent countless months in the hospital, and instead of always going to the Gamecocks baseball games, the Gamecocks started coming to him.
It was one of those situations that just felt right, and he really became a part of our program.
I went to the hospital and met him, and the kid was pretty amazing, and he stuck with me.
One player, Whit Merrifield, had Bayler's heart more than any other.
You know, I just wanted to be there for him and his family, and you know, try to develop this friendship with him, and hopefully help him, you know, get his mind off of what he was going through at the time.
Bayler was a big Christian. He loved going to church, and that's what Whit talked to him about when he came up to see him. He talked about putting his trust in God and that he would get him through it.
Rob says out of all the players, Whit would spend the most time with him. Bayler loved the team, and he loved Whit.
And we colored that poster at the hospital. He put number 5 rocks on there.
There's a bouncer. Bobby Haney picks it up. Walker.
Then, just as his team made it to the College World Series,
the doctors from New York called and said that there wasn't going to be any more treatment available that would help Bayler.
Bayler's fight with cancer ended for good.
He passed. It was, I mean, that's the worst day of our life and probably ever will be.
Coach O'Rourke told me, and I just crashed. It was awful.
Jeffrey Jones on deck.
That same night, his team was down to their final out, one strike away from going home.
Bat tonight.
When something very special started to happen.
3-2 pitch. Base hit in the right field.
That's when all my family at the hospital and friends started saying, you know, I believe Bayler was behind that. The next night they decided to write BT on their hats in honor of Bayler, and Michael Roth, who had never pitched, started a game all year, starts the Clemson game and pitches a complete game 3-hitter.
2 straight victories over Bayler's rival landed his team in the championship. Pitchers threw flawlessly on very short rests, and the Gamecocks found themselves 1 run away from a national title.
South Carolina will have a chance to win it all.
Then in the bottom of the 11th, that run stood on third base, with who else but Whit Merrifield at the plate.
It's a little bit like angels in the outfield. You know, you just feel like someone's with you. You feel like it's not real.
I know what's going to happen. I tell the guy sitting to the right of me in the stands, I said, that's Bayler's favorite player.
Pumps the 2-0. Swing, line, drive, right field. It drops. Coming home is Wingo. He touches home. The game is over. The game is over. The wait is over.
Whit came up to me afterwards in tears, saying he felt Bayler's hands on the bat.
I could definitely, you know, feel a little presence, and I don't have any doubt that it was him.
He inspired us, and he's been watching over us. He's been an angel on our wing. Thank you, Bayler.
All this from a boy who loved the Gamecocks.
I can't describe how much I loved him, how proud I was of him.
And felt in heaven when he was on the ball field.
I have a feeling he's in heaven and he's looking down on us.
most proud of anything I am in my life is that I was his father.